The ice shelves stretch toward the horizon, a flat expanse of blue-white light. Here, the huddle is the only sanctuary. Thousands of chicks stand pressed together, their downy bodies absorbing the biting wind. Then, the movement begins. The adults, having nurtured their young through the deep freeze, turn their backs. They walk away. One by one, the parents head toward the distant sea, leaving the nursery empty. A silence descends, broken only by the sharp crack of shifting ice. The chicks stand exposed. They look toward the horizon, then back at the empty space where their parents had been. The distance to the ocean is vast, and the ground under their feet is uneven, slick with frozen ridges. One chick takes a step. It stumbles, wings flapping to regain balance. Another follows. They are no longer sheltered. They are alone in a world that offers no forgiveness. Every movement requires intent. Every shift in weight is a gamble against the slope. They begin the long trek, their small bodies dwarfed by the endless, frigid landscape. The ice floe hides a shadow. Without warning, a hulking shape erupts from the water. Character. One lunges, massive jaws snapping shut. A chick is lifted, its wings beating uselessly as downy feathers burst into the air and scatter across the snow. The remaining chicks freeze, then scramble backward, tripping over their own feet in a desperate, clumsy retreat. They form a defensive circle, rising to their full height, beaks pointed outward. One chick refuses to back away, standing firm to hold the predator's gaze. Just as the seal prepares to strike again, a blur of movement cuts across the ice. Character, two waddles forward, honking with sharp, rhythmic intensity. It positions itself directly between the chicks and the giant predator. Chest puffed, wings beating against the air. The seal hesitates, its head swaying as it processes this unexpected defiance. The shift in momentum is absolute. Character, one pulls back, sliding into the dark water. The chicks do not wait. They turn and press forward, guided by the instinct to reach the open sea, leaving the danger behind on the cracked, blood-spattered ice. The ice gives way to the churning black surf. The chicks arrive at the edge, their feet gripping the frozen shelf as they stare down at the rhythmic rise and fall of the ocean. The water is dark, cold, and unpredictable. One by one, they lean forward, gravity pulling at their bodies until they lose their footing and tumble into the froth. Some dive clean, vanishing beneath the waves, while others struggle, paddling frantically to clear the surf zone. This is the final threshold of their journey.
They emerge, shaking salt from their bodies, transformed by the immersion. Suddenly,
the landscape shifts. The vast, monochromatic ice vanishes, replaced by the hard, narrow geometry of a city alley. A European hamster scurries over cold concrete, whiskers twitching against the stagnant air. It maneuvers around a discarded plastic cup, eyes scanning for movement. It stops at a pile of refuse, stuffing its cheeks until they balloon to a quarter of its body weight. Every second spent in the open is a gamble against the shadows. It pauses, ears rotating to catch the sound of distant footsteps, then darts into the darkness, carrying its prize toward the safety of a hidden burrow. Deep within the dense canopy, a patch of earth is swept clean. The superb lyrebird stands at the center of this stage, its tail feathers arched high. It opens its beak and the forest fills with a sudden, impossible cacophony. It starts with the sharp, rhythmic cry of a kookaburra, then seamlessly shifts into the mechanical snap of a camera shutter. The bird pauses, head tilting, before unleashing the jagged, droning roar of a chainsaw. The sounds are precise, layered, and delivered with relentless energy. It paces the mound, turning its body to project the noise toward every corner of the thicket. Rivals in the distance respond, but the lyrebird accelerates, weaving their own songs into its display, drowning them out with a complex, synthetic symphony. It is a calculated act of deception designed to dominate the soundscape. As the final mimicry fades into a soft, melodic trill, the bird freezes. It waits, eyes scanning the shadows of the ferns. A movement in the brush suggests the performance has worked. The stage remains ready, the silence now heavy with the result of its intricate, borrowed voice. On a sunlit stretch of beach, The sand is littered with the debris of the tide. A group of hermit crabs gathers near a cluster of abandoned shells. They are not fighting. Instead, they move with a strange, methodical purpose. A single, pristine shell lies in the center of the sand, a rare prize in this environment of scarcity. The largest crab approaches, testing the shell with its claws, then steps aside to make room. One by one, the others follow, lining up in a descending order of size. It is a precise, social sequence. The largest individual discards its old shell and slips into the new one. The vacancy left behind is immediately claimed by the next crab in line. The chain reaction continues, a fluid, orderly dance of exchange that ripples through the group. Each movement is deliberate, calculated to ensure that every member of the queue upgrades to a better fit. As the smallest crab finally settles into the last available shell, the tension of the encounter dissolves. The beach returns to stillness, the scarcity resolved by the collective act of cooperation. Life on the forest floor begins at a scale where every leaf is a mountain and every shadow hides a predator. A newly hatched mantis clings to the underside of a fern, its legs thin as thread. It moves with delicate caution, testing the air. A few inches away, the ground vibrates. A jumping spider emerges from the debris, its multiple eyes fixed on the hatchling. The spider shifts, its body coiling, calculating the strike. The mantis freezes, blending into the green texture of the stem.
It does not run. As the spider lunges, the mantis abruptly pivots, raising its forelimbs in a sharp, jagged arc. It vibrates its body, widening its stance to mimic a much larger threat.
The spider stops mid-crawl, front legs raised, sensing the sudden shift in the mantis's profile. The air between them grows heavy with the threat of violence. The mantis holds the pose, wings flared, refusing to break the illusion of its own size. The spider hesitates, stepping back, its focus wavering as it reevaluates the target. For this moment, the gamble holds. The mantis keeps its guard up, waiting for the predator to lose interest, knowing a single retreat will end in a fatal strike. High above the coastal bluffs, the sky darkens. A massive eagle glides into view, its wingspan casting a jagged,
sweeping shadow across the nesting colony. The reaction is instantaneous. 1,000 birds erupt into the air simultaneously, a chaotic storm of feathers and frantic cries. They dive into deep reeds, scramble into rocky burrows, and collide in their rush to escape the talons.
The eagle banks, eyes scanning the confusion for a straggler, but the thicket provides cover. As the predator drifts away, the colony begins to settle. The scene shifts to the edge of the forest, where the mood turns heavy. A troop of monkeys gathers in a tight circle around a small, still body lying on the forest floor. There is no foraging now, no grooming. They approach with deliberate, slow steps. One by one, they reach out, pressing their palms against the small form, tilting their heads as if listening for a heartbeat. They emit soft, low-frequency vocalizations that ripple through the group. They do not leave. They stand vigil, gathered in a quiet, collective recognition of a life that has slipped away, their social instincts binding them in a shared moment of stillness. On the volcanic fringe, the world is defined by sharp edges and unforgiving heat. A newborn iguana clings to a jagged rock, its skin mimicking the gray, porous surface. It is motionless. It has to be. 3 inches away, a snake slides through a fissure, its scales rasping against the stone. The iguana does not blink. Its eyes are fixed, tracking the ripple of the predator's muscles as it tests the air with a flickering tongue. The snake pauses, head swaying, sensing the heat of a heartbeat. The silence on the rocks is absolute, broken only by the distant wash of waves against the shore.
The predator coils, tightening its frame for a strike. The hatchling remains a statue. Suddenly, the snake lunges, its jaw snapping shut on empty air, just a fraction of an inch from the iguana's tail. The impact shakes the rock. In the split second of the predator's recoil, the iguana breaks its paralysis.
It skitters across the sharp incline, claws clicking against the stone. It dives into a narrow crevice, sliding deep into the shadows of the green coastal brush. The snake strikes again, but the gap is already closed. The hatchling is gone, leaving the predator to hunt in the empty heat. On the open savanna, the balance of power shifts with a single misstep. A young male lion finds himself backed against the dry earth.
A circle of 20 hyenas closing in. They do not attack all at once. They harass, darting in to snap at his flanks and retreating before he can strike. The lion swivels, his mane bristling, jaws parted in a low, vibrating growl that barely cuts through the cacophony of cackling. He lunges, but his weight is too great. He slips on the dusty ground, and the pack surges forward. Teeth scrape against his shoulder. He is forced to his belly, pinned by the sheer volume of bodies pressing against him.
The air is thick with the musk of the pack and the frantic energy of the hunt.
Just as the lead hyena prepares to lunge for his throat, the ground trembles. A deep, guttural roar erupts from the grass.
A second male lion slams into the fray, a wall of muscle and fury. He strikes with a heavy paw, sending 2 hyenas sprawling. The pack hesitates, the momentum shattered by the sudden arrival of an ally. The young lion rises, flanks heaving, and stands shoulder to shoulder with his kin. The hyenas fall back, cackling fading into whimpers as the 2 predators claim the space, their unified presence ending the assault. The journey spans the globe, from the frozen edges of the polar ice to the hidden corners of the urban landscape. Across the forest floor, the sunlit beach, and the vast, unforgiving savanna, the story of survival repeats in infinite variations. Every creature performs a role in this grand, unfolding mosaic. The penguin chick finds its stride, the iguana slips into the shade, and the lions stand as one against the encroaching pack. These are not merely isolated struggles, they are the rhythmic pulses of a living system. Every act of guile, every note of a complex song, and every display of raw courage serves a single, vital purpose. To endure is to adapt to the shifting demands of the world.
It is to accept the inherent risk of every sunrise and to recognize the strength found in the presence of another.
Survival is a mosaic built from small, fleeting triumphs. It is the wisdom of the herd, the tenacity of the solitary, and the silent, ironclad bond of the group. In the face of nature's relentless pressure, life survives because it learns, it risks, and it remains inseparable from the strength of the collective. The cycle continues, written in every heartbeat and every hard-won breath.